Right then, girlies. So, in celebration of International Women's Day this Sunday, we are going to dive into all things women's health and fitness.
Fab.
Stunning stuff. Right, I'm going to send it over to you. And you are going to start us off, Han.
So to start the conversation, I want to dive into why strength training is important for women, not just aesthetically. So personally for myself, when I first started training, it was all about I needed to be thin. I couldn't do any kind of exercise without sort of eating absolutely bare minimum and just feeling like rubbish, really. I think over the years, women have got a lot better with education online. Like when I was younger, seeing women on Instagram, magazines, I always wanted to look a certain way, and I never really thought about how strength training could make me feel better. I was doing it as punishment. I don't know about you girls.
Yeah, definitely. I think when I started, the only reason I started training was to look better.
Yeah.
I didn't have any idea that there was any other health benefits. It wasn't until way later on in life that I actually felt that and realised it.
I think that is the way it is for the majority, and I think because like social media is so out there at the moment, I think that is the reason why a lot of young girls initially start their journey, because you don't know about what you don't know. So like that's initially what you come in looking to do, isn't it?
Yeah. Why do you think that strength training is more important than just like what it looks like?
So I know you don't really want to think about it now, but it's going to come to us all eventually. So when you get older, like there's no one helping me with my food shop. Like I want to do that on my own. Strength training is going to help with sort of your bone density, your sort of ability to be able to recover from injury a lot better. Shopping bags, I always like to use that analogy. Like I'm doing one trip back and forth to the car for as long as I possibly can. I am doing 10 bags in either hand. So it's not just physically looking a certain way. Obviously that goes alongside strength training, but being able to move without it being a task as you get older.
Yeah, for sure.
And I think about that now. I'm 30. I'm talking like I'm 65, but yeah.
You need to do it now. Because otherwise you get there and you're already so far behind, whereas if you can just keep ticking away and building strength, then you're already there.
Like naturally, as we get older, our body is going to have that resist, but I just think through healthy eating, through training, if we can just minimise that resist as much as we possibly can, like why would we not do that if we are in control of it?
Yeah. And that stat I mentioned was you are 26% less likely to die from an early death if you train 3 to 4 times a week.
It's nuts.
It's like 3 to 4 hours of your time a week can make you longer. Like it's crazy what a difference it does make.
Yeah, and it ties back to that. Like obviously when we were younger, we wanted to train 6 days a week. Before I had Frankie, I would train 7 days a week. How I could physically do that now, you know, people can't do that now, especially women. You're working full time, you're looking after children, you're, I don't know, cooking food for 5 people in your house. You don't need to spend that much time to look or feel a certain way. So like you mentioned, what's that, 3-4 times a week for an hour? That's you done.
And that data literally just goes to show that it's not 5 to 6 days a week of training, is it?
It doesn't have to be the all or nothing kind of outlook that we probably all went through when we first started training. Like if you skip a day because you're not feeling great, everything's ruined, which, you know, that isn't the case.
Yeah, for sure.
So that kind of takes us into the next bit, was talking about how that changes throughout different life stages in life. So when you started training, how old were you when you started training?
14, 15 roughly.
That was similar age, like 15 probably, something like that.
I just went really randomly, like again just went because I wanted to look better. My friend just dragged me there and I didn't stop since. But I think when I started as well was when I was really just like didn't really know what I was doing in terms of in the gym, but because I started there I also wanted to eat better. But by doing that was actually like the worst thing I could have done, because I was just eating less. I did like a juice fast, so I didn't eat anything for like a week other than fruit and veg.
Oof, that makes me feel fatigued even thinking about it.
That makes me feel hungry just thinking about it.
Yeah, but it's like you just don't know. Like at that, like you said, you don't know what you don't know. At that age, you just see someone else do it. You see something.
Or you read something online, you just take it literal and think, I'm doing that end of. Yeah, definitely.
Because you trust whoever these random people are, don't you? Because that's the only sort of information that you have.
Yeah, I feel like I came into it actually like the complete opposite. You know, for most people, you kind of get into it for aesthetics. I feel like I went into it for performance. So when I was around like 15, 16, I started going to the gym. So my dad and my brother are both military background, and I wanted to do the same.
Yeah.
So literally started training for that. So I feel like I actually came into it on a positive, which is really good. But then it wasn't until kind of like later on into my 20s then when I kind of went down that, not even going to say negative, but experience like the more sort of toxic side of health and fitness.
Yeah.
And then I've kind of come around like full circle now, so it's kind of like just come in waves really. But the majority of people do start like that though, don't they? Because they want to look a certain way.
Yeah, definitely.
And I think that's absolutely fine, but as long as you can see the other health benefits behind it as well, and it's not just the aesthetics. But I think to come into it for that reason, like that's not a bad thing.
No.
But as long as you understand the other benefits as well.
Actually, sometimes when I've spoke to women, they're almost like too shy to say that they want to look good.
Yeah.
It's fine to say that reason. Like, we all want to look good, but it's like you say, it's just...
It's like as if we've stepped out of that era now, and that's why people feel a bit uncomfortable. I want to train because I want, I don't know, better looking shoulders or something. People don't want to talk about that anymore.
No.
I started running when I first started training, and I run in like 10Ks a couple of times a week, and I wouldn't eat anything. I think I went down to about 5 stone was my lightest I ever was. I wouldn't eat things if they had sauces on. I'd go around Tesco scanning things on a food shop, like mental. And then one of my friends introduced me to CrossFit. Not that I was an athlete in CrossFit, but I dabbled in that. And then my relationship with food got a lot better because I could clearly tell that what I was doing currently could not fuel my training. I was going in there lifting weights, feeling terrible.
You don't realise how
I went to sleep all day.
Yeah, like until you make a change.
So that's what your body's used to as well. Like, you know, when you were doing that when you were running and eating like bare minimum, like that's what your body is adapted to. Like that's what your body thinks is the norm now. So until you take yourself out of that current norm, you don't realise how unhealthy and toxic it actually is until you take yourself out of it and then you create a new norm for yourself then.
I was really out of my depths when I first started training. I was thinking, what
so
is going on in here?
You're never going to go into a new type of training either, knowing exactly what you're doing, you know?
Definitely. And we see that now when people come in here and they haven't trained like this style of training before. You can see them stand there being really nervous, but you know, we've all been there.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
So next stage of life for a lot of women would be pregnancy. You too.
Here we go now.
Very experienced.
You say that as if I've got like 5 kids.
I've only got one. Both got one.
How do you feel like your relationship to like strength training or just training in general changed when you got pregnant?
Okay, so when I first found out I was pregnant, I found it quite hard physically. I couldn't look at myself. I hated the way my body was changing. I still trained. I went through that phase in the beginning where all I could eat was beige. I couldn't eat fruit and veg.
I think that's quite a natural phase in pregnancy.
And I used to beat myself up about that as well. I used to like, go online saying, is this normal? I want to eat chicken soup and noodles, where, you know, I got out to that phase eventually. I had to dial back training after so often, which, you know, we all know you can't be doing the same intensity back then, just still moving. And then after I had him, looking back of how I was feeling then, I thought, why did I think like that? Like I give birth safely. I could go back to training afterwards. Like our bodies can do that. It's wild. Like I didn't appreciate what we can do as women until looking back. When I was in there, I didn't like it. I didn't like the experience. But I think if I went through it again, I had another baby, I'd look at it a completely different way.
Yeah, that makes sense. I guess it goes back to the same thing as when you were saying about like in your 20s or starting out, you don't really know what to expect or like what you're capable of. Like,
I remember thinking when I was pregnant, I can go back training 6 days a week, come to work full time.
Shock to the system.
Shock to the system.
Shock to the system. You? How did that change for you?
I think because I was 22. I think. Yeah, it was 20. I can't remember. Honestly, it feels like ages ago. I was. She's nearly 6. But I think because I was so young, I didn't expect it to hit me that hard. I just thought, people keep on telling me, you'll be all bump, you won't be anywhere else. They were so wrong.
Really?
Like so wrong. I was so big, like so much bigger than what I thought I was going to. I loved the pregnancy. I loved the thought of like growing a human.
Yeah.
But in terms of like the aesthetic side, because I'd always been quite small and petite, I didn't think it was going to change me that much. And I can literally remember waking up the morning after having her. So I gave birth about 10:30 at night, and then she got taken away for tests and stuff. And then I woke up the next day, and there's just this little human next to me, and I remember touching my stomach, and I was like, oh, it's not gone, and I was fuming. I was raging. Honestly, I was so annoyed.
I don't think anyone talks about that. Like when they send you home, like one, you don't know what to do, and you're just like, what? Is someone going to come with me? But then also looking down and thinking, is there another one still there? It still looks
People thought I was having twins when I was pregnant, so I mean there was kind of that thought in my head, but I just remember touching my stomach and feeling like I was going to lose my hand. I was like, oh my gosh, like what is going on? I remember being on FaceTime to one of the girls in like the hospital toilet, and like FaceTime and being like, look, it's not gone back to the way that it was before. I just expected to like click my fingers and it was going to go back to the way it was before. And I had Mila when we were in COVID.
Right.
So there was no like returning to gyms. You know, honestly, when I see members here bringing their babies with them or like going down the gym, I get so jealous. Really? I'm so jealous because I just couldn't do that at the time. So that's like where it started for me, where I actually had to really focus on the food that I was eating then, because it was making it hard to make the progress in terms of movement. So that kind of like spurred something in me then where I was like, right, I actually do need to get on top of my nutrition now. And that's just kind of what led me to other things then. So it was just tricky in that kind of time just because of COVID and all of that sort of stuff going on.
But then again, it's just like making the most out of what you've got right there. Like, I guess maybe COVID freed up some time in a different way, which for sure. Compared to like maybe having to go back to work eventually or whatever. Nice. And then next stage, which none of us have quite got to yet. Perimenopause. I think, again, in the same way, everybody's experience is going to be very different, right? But strength at that stage is, again, just working with where you are. And the healthier we are leading up to that, the easier that transition is going to be. Which is another thing that I think about, especially now when I'm like training and
definitely.
It's like, I know if I can look after myself in the best way possible, when I get to that transition,
for sure,
hopefully it's going to be an easy transition.
It's the same with every change of phase in your life though, so you could say the same thing leading up to like pregnancy, for example, or leading up to an injury. Obviously you can't predict that, but if you train consistently already, when those new phases come into your life, it's not such a shock to the system. So say if women join us now when they're going through menopause, it feels like a bigger shock to the system because they haven't been consistently moving, they haven't been consistently prioritising their nutrition. So like you say, because you're already doing it now, you know that, you know, when it gets to that point for us,
you're not playing sort of like catch up.
Not going to be that much of a shock to the system. But like there's so many members here going through perimenopause, menopause at the moment who say that now having that consistent movement in their week actually helps them to manage the symptoms so much better. I'm not saying control them because you can't really to a certain extent, but if you can manage them just the same as managing like your stress levels, you can manage those symptoms as well.
And that's such a good point, because even if it's someone that hasn't always done that, it doesn't mean you're a write-off.
No, it's never too late, definitely.
Like, no matter if you're postmenopausal, like it will still make a difference. It will still make a huge impact.
And it is hard to talk about it because obviously we haven't gone through that, but I think all of us have had experiences with clients where they've given us, you know, we get X, Y, and Z symptoms, and we know sort of how to handle that a lot better now. Like I know someone in their late 50s that's got osteoporosis, which is like arthritis kind of issue, it's hereditary, and they didn't start strength training until their late 50s, and now they can move a lot better. Like before they couldn't bend down and pick something up, and strength training has written all that off, which is amazing. Crazy. So it's not just I want a six-pack, it's I can move.
Pain-free.
Exactly.
Which shows that it's never too late and you're never too old to start prioritising your health.
Especially when you find the right environment and space that supports you no matter what stage you're at. Like,
so it can be tailored to you.
Like not every environment is going to be the best for 70-year-old Sally. Like, Do you know what I mean?
Sally.
Getting absolutely smashed.
Who's Sally?
Like, I don't know, I was trying to think of someone that we haven't got here. Like, call anyone out.
Oh my gosh.
It's like
Yeah.
you need that right environment, the right people around you to help you understand your body and like what it actually needs.
I almost spilled that on the floor.
I think being around other women who are in the same scenario as you is so helpful as well. You know, like when you're pregnant, being around other pregnant women.
Yes.
Pregnant women.
Yeah.
If you're going through menopause, surround yourself with other women who are going through menopause so that they can relate to you, so you don't feel like you're on your own with it
And
as
again,
well.
even if you haven't got that phase of life, so I know we're nowhere near the sort of perimenopause stage of our life yet, hopefully. But like looking at people that are, and they're doing really well, it makes you think, oh my God, I got a good chance when I get there.
Yeah, it's inspiring.
Yeah, exactly, definitely. Yeah.
And it doesn't actually, that's a good point, like, it makes me reflect, like, if they can turn up during this really, like, difficult time, I can turn up.
Yeah, yeah, to sum it up, it's that,
I can train after this class.
Just taking inspiration from other people who aren't necessarily at the same phase in their life as you, but you can take that in your current phase, take the inspiration of their current
I think
phase
that
into
sums
yours.
up like International Women's Day, really, is that.
Oh,
It is.
What's happened to
you're right, though.
Yeah.
That's what it's all about, right? Like,
Yeah.
it's amazing.
Hit the nail on the head for you there, didn't I?
Minus nail.
Should we talk about some of the changes that happen during perimenopause? So why it's actually important, why all of these things are important?
Just about to out my mum.
Again, everyone's experience is very different, right? But it's 30 our muscle mass starts to decline.
They say late 20s, 30s, yeah.
So it's like, can you imagine how much we're losing if we're not doing anything when we get to 50?
Yeah.
I think it's between
There's
2
nothing
and 3%.
You don't think it's going to
After
be so
30,
young as well, do you?
No.
Like as you're growing up, you wouldn't
Yeah.
think that it would start that
No,
soon.
you think it's years and years away, but it's not. Like, it happens so soon. And if we don't, like, fight back,
Yeah.
like, say you're not going to be able to carry your shopping bags in one trip home.
I'm doing
It's
that.
not going to happen.
I'm doing it.
Oh, do you know, I was in Tesco a couple of months ago and I saw this little old man. I know we're talking about International Women's Day, but I saw this little old man and just like couldn't carry his own shopping, like couldn't lift his bags into his car. And, you know, I just thought, I just don't want it to get to that point.
Yeah.
And like, honestly, this is a while ago now, but it always sticks in my head. Because
Yeah.
I always think, I don't want to get to that point where I can't do basic things.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Like
just
getting up and
scary.
down a set of stairs is a task for some people when they're older.
Yeah.
I don't think any of
Yeah.
us will be like that.
Yeah.
I don't think anyway.
Yeah. And I think those are the things that we take for granted.
Yeah. Because you know, obviously, that's not a task now. You don't need to think about it, but it will get there for a lot of people.
I think that's what surprises members that come here as well, when they notice those small changes. Someone that I was speaking to, she looks after her grandson quite a lot, and to get him up, like, he's only crawling, so she would have to, like, scoot him up on his bum because she couldn't pick him up and walk up the stairs. Like, she didn't have the strength to hold him.
Oh, I see what you're saying now. So I couldn't visualise that then.
Yeah.
I know what you mean now.
So, yeah, she just used to have to, like, pick him up on his
Step
bum.
by
like,
step.
Yeah. But now she can pick him up and walk up the stairs.
Get him on the side.
Do you know what I mean? But
Yeah.
before, she didn't have the strength to hold her own body weight and his to get up the stairs.
Something
But
that
now
you
she
consider
can.
to be so basic
I know.
isn't actually for a lot of
so you
people.
don't think about, so it's really cool. Really cool.
So, going back to what you just said about symptoms of menopause, we just completely swiped past that.
Yes.
So things that I've heard just from like personal conversations with other people is just like changes in mood, sweats, fatigue. I'm really not looking forward to that, to be honest with you.
No.
That's definitely like a big one I've noticed in women going through menopause who I've been around is the mood, mood swings, waves, whatever you want to call them, in the nicest way possible.
Well, you just think like it's a really stressful transition for your body. It's a really stressful time. And if you're already stressed and not managing everything that's going on, and that could be like your training stress or not eating enough food, when you add this other
It's
thing,
going to heighten all the other stresses. Yeah.
Like, I can't like deal with this, and it comes out in those meetings. Like, it's the same when you have PMS. Like, just even more exaggerated.
But like to an extreme.
Yeah. Crazy.
Taken to another level.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, cool. Should we go on to the next one?
What's the next one?
The next one. So the next one's all about diet culture and how that's shaped us as women to look at like food and our training, which I guess we've already sort of touched on.
Yeah.
But I think that it influences a lot and influences a lot of women in a way that we like haven't even realised. Do you know what I mean? Because I still find now that I like catch thought patterns that I'm like, what am I on about? Like if one of you said that to me, I'd be like, shut up.
Like what?
You know what
Like what? Spill.
Or just, you know, like, do I look too masculine? Like,
okay.
Should I be lifting?
Shut the fuck up.
Yeah,
You know,
exactly.
like you do, like for a second, and I'm like, oh my god, like gross. But you do, and like it's this like diet culture that we've all grown up with, and I think until you've like actually acknowledged that that's a thing, it's really hard to like change your behaviours.
Yeah.
Because when I was younger, I wouldn't have questioned that thought. That would just be my mindset.
Yeah.
But going back to like, you don't know what you don't know.
Don't know what you don't know.
Because
Yeah.
that was like the norm for you.
Yeah,
You would
for
never
sure.
question it. Whereas there's probably things that have happened over the years throughout your journey that have made you think in a different way.
Yeah.
And that's why you stop yourself
Yeah.
now being like, why am I thinking like that?
Yeah.
Like, shut up.
Yeah, definitely.
I think everyone probably does it though. You need to make mistakes to learn.
Yeah, for
We all probably started
yeah,
at that
definitely.
point where we thought I needed to be thin and this kind of thing. But I think
Because that's what it's always been,
the
like-
generation that we're in now. So maybe when we first started training, it was always I need to look stick thin. Whereas now strength training is a lot more popular. So
Yeah.
we all sort of sing off the same song sheet now
Yeah.
a lot, better than what we did then.
Yeah.
But yeah, looking at supermodels like Kate Moss, can I be that thin? Like can't have anything worse now.
But your
I read that
views
off.
change. Like
Yeah.
your views change over time.
They do.
Yeah.
And in that moment, you're quite close-minded because you think that's my thought process, that's my opinion.
Yeah.
But as you get older, as you experience more things, you become more open-minded to changing your views.
Yeah.
And that's why you look back at it now and you think, that's so stupid.
So
like, why did I think
stupid.
that? But
Yeah.
it's growth, girls.
Yes.
Growth.
Yeah, but it's that culture that we've grown up with.
Yeah,
right?
for
Like-
sure.
Like you said, we've been taught to be smaller. But I
Yeah.
don't remember anything when I was younger that educated me how to fuel my body properly.
No.
No.
The things I remember is like 5 a day, eat fruit like 5
Yeah,
fruit
which
a day.
I suppose that isn't a bad
And the
thing,
food
but
triangle. Yeah, but it's like it's such a small percent of what we actually need.
yeah,
You know?
protein was never talked about in that
No.
topic of
No.
5 a day.
No.
Yeah.
And like the
never.
carbs thing that we touched on earlier, like avoiding that sort of food. I didn't go through that phase because I love
Yeah. So like thinking back to like our parents, I'm not sure, but they
Yeah.
never set foot into the weight section of the gym. Well, I know my mum didn't anyway.
No.
Too manly. Like you mentioned, the
And that's
carb
okay,
thing,
yeah.
like being scared of eating pasta and potatoes.
Yeah.
If someone told me I couldn't eat that now, I think I'd have a tantrum and throw
Yeah.
myself on the floor.
And I think
He's so annoyed.
yeah, it comes from that previous generation's view and their experience as well. Like I've had comments from family who have said like, you shouldn't be doing that, and like, don't
Be careful.
Don't get
Yeah.
too much weight because you'll get too bulky or you'll get too big, or like, oh, you're looking a little bit bigger at the moment. And I'm like,
Oh, it's the like, oh, you're looking a bit small at the moment, you need to eat a little bit more.
Yeah,
or you get the
can't.
opposite and you just think, I cannot win in this scenario.
Either way,
And I
yeah.
actually think it's accepting, especially as a female, not being sexist, but you can't please everyone.
No.
you don't need to.
No, and you've just got to be happy with how you are, physically, mentally, whatever,
Yeah.
without other people commenting, external comments coming in.
Yeah.
You've just got to almost get like a little bit thick-skinned and just be like, cool, like that's your opinion.
And you've got
like,
to
that,
think like,
great, thanks for sharing
like,
that.
there could
but I
be
didn't want
5
it.
people standing here now, like you said, sorry not to be sexist, but women, and they could have completely different walks of life. So whether they've got 5 kids, 1 child, no children at all, people working full-time, part-time, so that them people standing here can't do exactly the same thing.
No. Yeah.
Like speaking to someone that's early 20s, like we mentioned earlier, training 6 days a week.
Yeah, for sure.
Not many people are going to do that now.
No, you can't
So
compare.
taking advice from someone that's not in the same boat as you, again, that's another thing.
Yeah, for sure. What would you say you guys learn or have experienced through diet culture? Like, is there anything that comes to mind that you've gone through yourself or that you've heard from other women?
I used to look at food as like a punishment. So if I'd eaten a certain thing, I had to do X amount of exercise to be able to justify eating it.
Really?
It took me a long time to get out of that mindset. I
Yeah.
definitely don't do that now,
Yeah.
but like carbs, for an example, I'd have to go on like a 2-hour run to eat a bowl of pasta.
Which is
Like,
just
it's wild, it's
Like,
wild.
It's so sad.
Yeah,
Like,
I know.
You've learnt that from, like, and not just you, so many people. Like
Yeah.
that output, input. Like,
Yeah.
you can't have that unless you've done this.
Yeah, it was punishment.
Yeah, yeah. What about
That's
you?
wild. I just think I've got to a point now from like yo-yoing up and down in terms of like aesthetics that I feel like I want to look the best that I can, but not to the extent that it's going to be detrimental to my health. So I've gone through periods of losing my periods, getting it back, my immune system being like on the ground, like literally just picking up like everything basically. There was a stage, right? This is ridiculous. I got hand, foot, and mouth disease.
How old were you?
25.
Oh 26? My God! Like you only ever hear of that young children.
Kids, yeah, I know. I went to the doctors. I was like, yeah, got it, whatever. And they were like, oh, I've got a young child at home. Yeah. Does she have it? No. And they were like, it's literally you. I was like, great. So I got that just literally from my immune system being just off the back of like a long stint of dieting.
Yeah,
and that's what was happening. Conjunctivitis, tonsillitis, hand, foot and mouth disease. Honestly, it was just constant. It was just like one thing after the other.
Yeah, like the byproducts of doing that to your body obviously gives you a long list of like immune system being really low, feeling fatigued all the time, and not being able to recover.
Another
like,
things that like
quick.
people don't speak about, like I know loads of people who've lost their cycle and had to regain it and things like that, but even just like a loss of sex drive as well, that is going to impact like your day-to-day life. But a lot of people don't speak about it because it's a bit taboo or whatever.
Yeah.
Or it's like a bit embarrassing.
Like, our biology and where we've come from is to survive and to reproduce.
Yeah.
So like if your body's not like stable enough or has too much stress, it's not in a position to reproduce. So it's like, shut that down. We don't need it right now.
Yeah.
We can't like create a safe environment for a baby, so we don't need that.
I'm not.
Like,
I don't want to facilitate a pregnancy because my body isn't primed to do that at the moment.
Yeah.
So I'm just gonna like switch that off and
so
see you later.
I'm just trying to survive.
It's actually wild. When I look back on it, it was literally
crazy.
like within the space of a year, like lost it and regained it twice. And it's mad looking back on it now. So I just think I want to look good, and that's cool, and that's like great for your confidence and just like day-to-day walking around, but I want to make sure that my body actually functions properly.
Yeah, and that's what I think gets missed in that diet culture. It's like trying to promote that like thin, healthy look, but actually forgetting that that's not the healthiest, potentially not the healthiest version of you.
No.
Because you sacrifice everything else, right? And like you, like mental health maybe wasn't where it should have been. Like,
obsessed and all the things that
like people think you're great, like you're super healthy.
Yeah, but that just means nothing really, does it? Like everyone's healthy is different.
Yeah.
Like there's no point going online and some influencer have said they eat, I don't know, chicken and rice for every single blinking meal. That's not going to work for everyone.
No. What an example is that I tend to use. I know, so like me and one of my best friends like got completely different body compositions. She can sit at a much lower body fat percentage than me.
Yes.
And her body like functions, like cycles all good, like she's fine, like immune system's fine. If I sat at that body fat percentage, I'd be dead. I'm not joking. Because we were probably like around a similar sort of body fat level at that time, but the way my body functioned was completely different to hers. So I know, in like just from knowing myself over the years, I can't sit at that body fat percentage and my body function the same, which goes to show like comparison is just completely irrelevant at that point.
A lot of people wouldn't think that way either, which is hard to obviously get to that point for a lot of people, but a body fat percentage can look different on like I mentioned, the list of 5 people standing there, they could all have 15% body fat,
but the way you distribute
and they can look
different.
completely different. So you can't just rely on numbers. You've got to go by like how you're feeling, like are your energy levels really good, can you move in the gym, like are you sleeping well enough, all these factors you need to tie in. It's not just I look great but you feel like shit outside. It doesn't matter.
But this is why, when people fixate and they think I want to get to this level of body fat percentage, or I want to get to this body weight or whatever, you have absolutely no idea how that is going to feel until you get there. You have no idea how your body's going to function until you get there. So it's all a bit of trial and error. Like cool having a goal and get there, but evaluate it when you get there and see if it is actually something that's sustainable for you. And just from first-hand experience, it wasn't.
Yeah, for sure. And I think what gets missed as well is that focus on the feeling, right? Like people get really fixated on the number because that's what, again, we've been taught or conditioned. But it doesn't really matter if you get there or not if you feel great.
Yeah.
You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
yeah.
Like because our confidence obviously comes from how we look, but we could look the best we've ever looked, but if our relationship with our body and our mindset isn't right, then you can't see that. You can't acknowledge the progress and the changes that you've made.
And I think stress plays a big part as well. Like if you are stressing over those kinds of things, the numbers could be great, but you can feel and look like rubbish because you're stressed.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
So again, that's another thing. It's not just the numbers. It's
I think it is starting to shift though. I don't know if it's because I'm like more in the space and just noticing things more now than when I started. But I think there is a shift on like being stronger and looking strong.
Definitely,
compared to when I started.
I think a lot more women are getting involved in health and fitness now for those reasons, as opposed to getting involved in aesthetics, which I think is amazing.
Yeah, it's a good shift. Just we need more.
our generation are killing it, guys.
Yeah, we are smashing it. So what to both of you does fueling for strength actually mean? Like, what does that look like? I think for me it's just about nourishing your body, giving your body enough to survive all of the bodily functions, but also to like show up in the gym as a mum, in work or whatever, and not just having the bare minimum to
get by.
And to get by. Like, it's not
it's, as much as like obviously we do all train, is to feel energised when you're not training as well.
Yeah.
So like the last thing I want to feel is training in here and then going home and having to deal with a 2-year-old that's wild, as much as I love him to death, and then not feeling energised.
Yeah.
Like that's why I do it. Yeah,
definitely.
I literally remember sending a message to one of my best friends, Emma, when I was like in the middle of dieting and I had to go and get my steps done, but Mila was like, one. And I was like, oh, I've got to push her in the pram. And I literally voice noted her being like, oh, can we go for a walk, but can you push the pram?
Really?
Because I was just knackered, honestly. I know what my hair looks like this anyway, but honestly it was just sitting on top of my head and I was like, I can't be bothered. I was like, please. I was like, you're going to have to come with me to push the pram.
Really?
And that sounds so dramatic, not like me, I know. But, but honestly at the time, and I genuinely was like, I felt really thick-skinned at the time, but looking back on it, I just didn't have the energy to do just do what I was doing. I just thought, I can't be bothered to go
I think
for a
when you're
walk.
in it, you don't realise how you're feeling until you look back. And I suppose you could say that about anything, really.
You've got that comparison.
Yeah,
with
but I
yourself.
think looking back at my pregnancy, I think the same thing with certain things.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like I wouldn't leave the house. For a while, I wouldn't leave the house. Whether it was like fear that I had to look after him by myself, I don't know what it was really. But
your confidence, your whole life has changed.
oh yeah, definitely. And again, when I was pregnant, I thought nothing would change. This sort of like being, I don't know, everything.
My whole life.
It did, but in a good way.
Yeah.
But at the time, it didn't feel like it was going to be a good way.
Yeah. And I think that's the point, is when we do fuel enough, like our ability improves, our confidence improves, and our like mood, and just like ability to just cope with those stressful situations, you know, that come up. But without that, it all feels so much harder. So much harder.
Do you know, I tend to find that women who prioritise their health and fitness are so much more like aware and manage stressful situations a bit better, because I feel like because they know their bodies well physically in the gym, I feel like then that has a knock-on effect to know yourself like mentally and emotionally as well. Does that make sense?
Yeah. As soon as something's not right, you're in tune to it.
Yeah, you're just more in tune with your body.
Yeah,
That's what I needed, that.
No, it's right, because I think, you know, when I've been away and I've not that I eat the same stuff all the time or anything, but when you're out of your routine and you're like eating maybe more processed foods or just
more pastries, cough cough.
More pastries,
Almond croissant.
100%. You feel that effect on your body like straight away.
Yeah,
whether that's like just more bloating or energy, it's like it feels like a huge shift, a huge difference to my body. And I'm like almost can't wait like to get back into just eating normal.
You like thrive in your routine, like in that structure.
And it's because you've got that baseline then, haven't you? And when you come off of that, it's like, oh no, this is not where I need to be.
This is not sitting right with me.
Yeah, you know the difference.
Yeah, like it is nice to step out of routine. Like if you go away on holiday, like you go, I don't know, Greece for a week.
Yeah.
You know that things are not going to be exactly the same. But I think like now, probably for all of us, the relationship we've got with food now, we can deal with that situation a lot better. Like you'll make choices without even thinking about it. Whereas I don't know, a good sort of 10 years ago, you'd really beat yourself up about going on holiday, which is wild. Like we all need that reset.
You need to be able to adapt and adjust to scenarios as well. Like you can't just live the same day in, day out. Like things are going to change, but like, you know, like being in tune with your body, like you've got to be open to adapting and adjusting.
It is more than just what you eat, right? Like that social aspect and that like space, different environment, all makes you feel better in a different way.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, cool. Anything else on that one?
When you mentioned about fueling for strength instead of dieting, I just got here that dieting, and when I say that, I'm talking about it as like cutting or being in a deficit or whatever it is that you want to call it, is just knowing that that's not a forever phase. And that is just like a temporary situation. If you're wanting to, you know, drop a little bit of body fat, like that's absolutely fine. But just knowing that you can't sit there forever, like you can't fuel strength and your training whilst being in a deficit forever. Like the majority, and this is just my personal opinion, the majority of your time, say across a year, for example, should be spent either at maintenance or in a slight surplus if you are looking to build on strength or you're looking to build muscle tissue. Like you need to be able to facilitate that with your food as well. And if you're constantly dieting whilst you're trying to do that, like your body is going to burn out very, very quickly, and your body's got such a good way of telling you as well that you're not giving me enough, I need more. And like your body will just like kind of go into like shutdown mode a little bit.
Because what happens is women stay in that deficit phase for so long and their progress stalls, so they think they need to go on less calories. And it's just like stuck in this pit of like not enough fuel, and your body's like, no, I need more.
But people get so far into it, they don't know how to get out.
Yeah, you're right.
It's also knowing what to eat within that number as well. Like I've seen it before. People have been given this 1,200. Where that's come from, I don't fucking know. And you could fill that with anything, but they're not eating the right things. Like their protein is at an all-time low. They don't eat fats whatsoever because that's bad. They don't eat much colourful fruit and veg, so they're feeling like shit. One, because they're under-eating, but they're also under-eating the right things.
Yeah, definitely. Making sure even if you are in a deficit, it's not just like minimal food, it's actually food that's going to nourish you.
I think they need the education of what to eat first. You almost need to sort of like graduate that level to even look at cutting or dropping calories, or more than likely adding it for most people.
Most women that I've worked with, I have put them on more calories than what they have been when they started, and they lose more weight than when they're eating more calories.
Because the quality of the food as well.
Food, like your body's like, right, okay, like I know that you're going to give me another meal at some point today.
Yeah, because you're working with your body, so your body wants to work with you. Whereas if you're constantly like fighting your body all the time, your body's like, well, freaking piss off, like I'm going to fight back.
That's not happening, like, we need this back right now.
Whereas if you work with your body, it'll work back, and it'll respond in the way that you want it to.
Yeah, definitely. So what would you say are the main things that women should focus on when trying to fuel for strength?
Pasta, not carbs.
All the pasta. I agree.
No, so just like the main food groups. So like if you're looking at what you're eating, you know you've got to have protein there, wherever you're going to get that from. Obviously lean meats and fish if possible. You're prioritising carbs, you're prioritising fats and fibrous sort of fruit and veg. Like you need to be hitting everything there to be able to fuel not just training but your energy levels in general.
And it's that simple: protein, fats, carbs, some colour.
And again, like we don't have to, I don't think about that now.
You can just do it all.
I can just do it. Like if I look at a plate of food and it looks beige, I can't look at it. I'm like, something's not right.
Got to do something
Something's
about
going on. You know, if I go for a buffet, that's different. Like, but if I'm looking at my day-to-day meals and there isn't fruit and veg, or fruit or veg even, alongside my protein, I just can't have it. It's just alien.
It just gets overcomplicated, and I think because like tracking is used as a tool quite a lot, and that's sort of thrown there on social media, like, you've got to track all your food, like, got to be really specific. Why would you jump straight to that when you haven't nailed the basics?
Exactly.
So literally just picking something from each food group and then just building up your plate, which is obviously something that we go through in the nutrition challenge here. But we always say to people, if you feel like you've not nailed like the fundamentals, the basics of nutrition, we don't want to talk about tracking yet. Like we want you to get you, like without even thinking, just incorporating those meals together.
And then again, you can do something in between where you just do hand portioning, just to make sure you're eating enough protein, for example. It doesn't have to be just visual. I had someone put a raw chicken breast on their hand once. I didn't mean like literally. I was like, you can just eyeball it.
On the palm.
They're trying to be accurate as possible.
I suppose.
But it's true, you can start off with those basics and you build that momentum. And you learn more about the food groups that you're actually eating as well. Again, like you don't really know how, not bad you're eating, but how much you're not fueling your body until you start, and you really start to feel those differences. And when you get that momentum, it just encourages you even more. And then that's maybe when you do want to get more specific and weigh food not on your hands but on scales.
Yeah.
I think it forces you to be...
The thought of putting a raw chicken breast on my hand, that was turning me sick.
I think it just forces you to be a bit more creative as well. When you are picking from those individual food groups, you just think, oh, I've not had that protein source before, like I'm going to try that and just see. And it all comes down to a little bit of trial and error because it looks different for everyone. Like your preferred protein source is going to be different to mine, different to Bry's, etc. It's just figuring out what works for you, and it takes a little bit of time. You've just got to be patient with it.
That is a huge thing, just being patient.
Yeah.
Because if it's taken you 4 weeks to get there, I don't think you're staying there.
No, probably not.
It takes time.
Yeah.
It takes a lot of time. Cool. Next one.
Stunning. Let's go through sustainable training and what community support looks like. So why does extreme, all or nothing training tend to fail women, especially busy women?
I think similarly to what we just started saying now.
Yeah, we've touched on it in dribs and drabs.
You just can't stick to that. It's not sustainable for you to do that, and you need it to be sustainable to get results.
What a lot of people tend to forget that with exercise, especially when they're first starting their health and fitness journey, it's all exciting, you bought all your new gym kit and all that jazz.
Tala.
You think, right, bit of Tala. Bryony 10 for discount. Is that when you come into it, people get really excited, and we always say like 3 sessions is literally all you need to be seeing sustainable progress. People want to just jump the gun and go straight to 5 to 6, but what people need to remember is that exercise, even though it's a positive stress on your body, it is a stress on your body, and you need to be able to recover from that stress to be able to perform as best you possibly can. So we need to prioritize the recovery as well as the physical exercise, otherwise you're not going to get what you want out of it. And that's why so many people who will go from 0 to 5 to 6 sessions a week within a 2 or 3 week period are like, I'm burnt out, I need a week off. And it's like, no wonder.
It needs to align with everything you've got going on outside.
Yeah.
Which, like we've mentioned before, that's different for everyone. Like, I know I could never train 6 days a week. It'd just be impossible.
Yeah.
No.
And I don't beat myself up about that now, where I know years ago I probably would have. Yeah. But just listen to your body. You know when you need to recover. If you've got a lot going on one day and you can't get your training in, it's not the end of the world.
No.
It's not going to ruin everything else that you've done.
No. But I think we've been conditioned to think that we need to do more and we need to do everything. Like as
more isn't always better though, is it?
No.
Under our umbrella that we need to keep on top of, but you can't do it all the time, and like
definitely
that's
not.
fine.
You know, I think if you feel like it's taken over your life, like say for example, if you are a mum or you've got a busy job, you've got your own business, like you've got other like family, friend commitments and things like that. If you feel like exercise is taking over your life, you're probably doing too much, and all you're doing in the process is just creating a negative relationship with exercise. And just the same as what people do with nutrition, you're demonizing movement because it's becoming a burden in your life, whereas that 1 hour a day or whatever it is that you're doing, you should look forward to that because it should be probably the biggest stress reliever in your day. But if you're doing too much of it, it's going to do the opposite of what we want it to do.
Yeah, definitely. And accepting that through those different stages of life that we spoke about earlier, that's going to look very different. And again, like that's fine. And just aiming for that consistency over intensity.
It will just be so person dependent. Like we could have some members here who are who are retired and like don't really have that much to do, and like that's cool. I'm like, well, if you can recover from it, like crack on, like that's great. But I just think going through those different phases in your life, you need to be able to, going back to me saying, you need to be able to adjust and adapt. Like when I was in my like late teens, early 20s, I would have trained like 5, 6, 7 days a week, like twice a day, and I wouldn't have thought anything of it. But there's absolutely no chance I'm going to be able to do that now. I'll probably get like 4 solid sessions in, and maybe like a fifth of them from feeling spicy.
But that means you can show up every week and do that, compared to doing it for 2 weeks and then not seeing you for 2 weeks.
And train with intention then, can't you?
Yeah, and that's true, within just like that individual session, like if you are more recovered, you can actually show up better. But if you're like fatigued and burnt out and you're turning up every single day, maybe twice a day, your intensity in that session isn't going to be as high as it needs to be anyway to get any progress. And
you're going to end up feeling worse afterwards then, which we've probably all been there, when we've done that one extra session and gone, I shouldn't have done that. Yeah.
And sometimes it's like, you know, like if you are in retirement or you really like love getting the social aspect out of that and you just want to go into the gym, like that's also fine, but it's just knowing your body and like when to pull back. So
exactly.
The conditioning session, like treat it as zone 2, just like a spin on the bike or go lighter with the weights or like whatever it is. I think that's why it's helpful being here or in a space where you've got a coach that can understand that and be like, right, well we'll just change this for this, or just like
you've got that support that you
and that can apply to sort of injury as well as energy levels.
100%, yeah, for sure.
I think in summary, like similar approach to like the nutrition side of things, like you have to work with your body for it to work with you and for it to respond in the way that you want to. So if you want to, you know, see these results in terms of your performance or your aesthetics, why would you possibly think that your body would do what you want it to do, and when you are literally just hammering it into the ground? Like you're like forcing your body to burn out and then thinking, right, why aren't you doing what I want you to do then? Like it makes absolutely no sense. That makes no sense.
That goes back to what's been drilled into us. So like recovery was never spoken about. No. So what you're eating is obviously goes hand in hand with recovery. So we were eating like absolute crap. We weren't sleeping well enough, I don't know. So like again, it's not going to go well, is it?
No, not at all. No. Not at all.
I feel like we're just bashing ourselves. We do a lot of good stuff.
Yeah.
It's hard being a woman, but it's great.
It's hard.
I promise.
It's worth it.
Yeah.
Kind of, when you get there in the end, anyway.
I think the nice thing, though, that we kind of went on to then is when you are in a gym or in a space with other women. Like, just like being able to have this conversation with you guys. Do you know what I mean? Like, just feel... just like, you do, like, feel... You feel like it's not only you that like struggle with these things then, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Support and encouragement.
And definitely.
Well, that actually takes us on to the next question. That was a smooth transition. So, how does having the right community and support system make consistency easier and more sustainable?
So like you mentioned earlier, so seeing people in a similar situation to you, whether that be in, they've got a similar kind of job, so high stress, children, owning businesses, you know, whatever it is, if they can do it, it's going to give me the sort of, I hate to use the word motivation because it gives me this ick, but it gives me sort of motivation to think that I can do the same thing as well.
Yeah, for sure.
It's inspiring.
Yeah.
It's like about the members earlier, like when they're like turn up still like going through, you know, perimenopause or just like stress or whatever it is, and they're turning up, you're like, I can do this.
Yeah.
If you know what I mean, everyone's got different stuff going on that's hard or whatever, but we're all here together.
Oh, that's nice, Bri. But I think I can't remember if I said this to you the other day, but when there's a class going on, there is literally a room full of inspiration, but you just need to like dig and have the conversation to find it sometimes. Like there's so many of our members who have gone through like some really tough situations, and if you actually just dig deep and have a conversation, you realise like that's actually so inspiring.
Yeah, definitely.
Like, there's like so many inspiring members here, and it's just all it takes is a conversation, and then all of a sudden you think, shit, like I've been whinging all day. Like how
I need to pack it in.
Yeah, I need to shut up.
I think when you're in this space together, you realise that nobody actually cares about what you look like, what you're lifting, how fast you
No.
go. So you stop that like comparison trap that we all get stuck in sometimes. Do you know what I mean? It does turn into more just like support rather than like there's members here when they pair up, they're like, you can go heavier than that. You know when you hear them say that?
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah.
Like, they do all push each other. Like,
I think
so nice.
like, I don't know how this ties back into it, but like being open about how you're actually feeling, because like years ago, if we did overtrain or we underate, we felt like rubbish, you wouldn't tell anyone that.
No.
You just make out that
like a shame
you would just
thing.
make out that everything's great. Whereas now, I think women feel a lot more confident speaking about what they're struggling with. Like I know I definitely am now. If I come in and I haven't slept very well, or I definitely haven't eaten very well the day before, I would talk about it. Whereas years ago, I wouldn't. And I think our members, or maybe members in other gyms, definitely do that now.
Yeah, for sure.
Because they'd be ashamed.
Yeah.
Like give it sort of 10 years ago, they would never have spoke about that.
No,
It's just a judgment-free zone, you know?
Yes, you've hit the nail on the head.
It is. And I think, do you know when you are around a support network in a community like that, you are just reminded that the least exciting thing about you is the way that you look, because people don't care. I don't care about what you look like. I don't care about like your body composition. Like I don't care. Like I'm interested in about more about you than that.
Should we wrap up?
Is it going off?
Yeah. We've got 2 minutes.
Are you joking? Oh no. Oh shit.
I think a really nice way to end this would be if you make up a quote.
So basically, I read a really cute quote on Instagram that I feel like ties in well with International Women's Day.
Go on,
so
then.
it's, women need other women in their lives who celebrate their wins without measuring them against their own. No competition, no keeping score, no quiet comparison, just I see your potential, I believe in you, and I want to watch you rise. Nice. I knew you'd like that.
Lovely.
Done.
Phased.